And I'm just going to bring the program up while I am talking and welcoming you. And I'll put my camera on. So good morning again, everybody. I am Fatima Daris. I'm the chair of ICBIS in this current term of office. And thank you for joining us at ICBIS this morning, your interest group for bibliographic standards. And welcome to the first in a series of conversations that we will be having with leaders in the profession. We hope to inspire you to take up a leadership positions in the interest groups, of course, ICBIS in particular, and of course, LIASA and the wider library and information science profession. The reason, and I think for a lot of people, ICBIS talking to leaders might be something that is a surprise because it's very much a technical interest group. But as you know, those of you who have been watching the LIASA election process during 2021 for the 2021-2023 term of office, there is a significant leadership issue, or with people wanting or being willing to take up leadership positions. And the consequence is very unfortunate because there's a number of interest groups that do not have a properly constituted committee. And we definitely don't want this to be happening within ICBIS. As many of you will know, ICBIS is the only national platform for cataloging and for metadata description. So it certainly must continue to exist for our profession. So we hope that in these series of conversations that we will be having with leaders in the profession, that it will inspire you to take up and to put on the mantle of leadership. So we're kicking off this morning with Segametsi Molawa, whom I will introduce very briefly because she will speak about herself, of course, as part of this conversation. Many of you will know her, of course. She is a past president of LIASA, and took up the presidency during the 2014-2016 term of office. And she is currently the director for information and resource distribution at UNISA Libraries. Colleagues, I will just remind you again that the conversation is recorded, and I will now stop sharing Segametsi, and I'll put my camera off so that Segametsi can come online.
Hope you're seeing me, colleagues.
We see you very well.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me. It is indeed a great pleasure that an event of this nature is happening, a conversation with an interest group, ICBIS. So because this is a conversation, we will be a bit relaxed and not tied up, sharing information and making sure that we share ideas, So I'm going to put it on a slide. It doesn't need a presentation because it's a talk, but talks have a nature of losing focus because you get carried away, you talk and talk and talk. Hence, I thought it would be brilliant to have this slide show. Let me go there and share. Are you seeing the slide, colleagues, the first slide?
We are seeing the slide, but we are seeing the presentation using this mode.
Fatima? Yes,
we are seeing the slides, Segametsi, but we are seeing the presenter mode.
Okay, let me go back. Let me go back.
That's perfect, Segametsi. We're seeing now the presentation.
You see the perfect slide.
Yeah, excellent, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. As I was saying, it is important that we will be sharing the ideas here about LIASA. I like what you just said, Fatima, that LIASA has been struggling to get people volunteering for leadership, and we get a lot of explanation about it, whether people don't have passion for it. But anyway, as we go, the different places have different experiences. Others say our employers are not giving us an opportunity, so we don't want to volunteer and we are not supported. But we just hope as we continue, each and everyone pulling their efforts, we will be in a position at the end of the day to get people to participate in LIASA. You know, this generation that is in the leadership of LIASA is the last generation of our generation that is called the baby boomers. We are so many, and we have different work ethics with our young professionals. So as most of us are slowly going out on retirement and a new cohort of professionals is coming in, we might have a gap in between there. So that is why it's very important that we must close a gap as people are going in their big numbers on retirement. People should be well mentored. We must be very comfortable as librarians. So this is what I want us to share today. I've already said I just needed us to have some content so that we focus on specific issues and not just talk, and so that you can also identify which area you would love us to talk more about. Because if we identify issues that are critical and need attention, we will focus the background, the journey in the professional association, the career path, LIASA's contribution, lessons learned, and the way forward. Most of this will be overflowing into the next one. So you might find that you don't get it quite well because it is a story. So when you tell a story, here and there you take other issues from another aspect. So I did not compartmentalize it that much. So yes, where did I start my career? You know, when I started my career as a librarian, I was coming from a background of wanting to be a medical practitioner. You know, that time when we were taking up choosing our profession, when your friends are saying we want to be doctors and you also want to be a doctor. A close friend of mine wanted to be a doctor. I said, it's a good idea, you know, and you will be taken very serious when you are a doctor. And I wanted to be a medical practitioner. Then we went, the university that I applied for, the one and only University Medunsa, I didn't get space because they were taking few students. Then I could not decide all of a sudden to go to Wits. I didn't apply. So you land at the University of the North. That's where I landed. And when I arrived there, I'm in this huge group of students who are doing, all the students who are doing natural sciences are in this first year class. And I'm there. Then we start with our practicals. We go there to dissect the rats. I can't believe I could not take blood. The very first practicals, I was off. And I just said, no. I struggled. And I said, I had to sit down, introspect myself, and say, who am I? And then that's when I realized that I'm passionate about service, but in a different way, not being a doctor, because I think what was driving me there was also I want to help people, but I was not clear how. So that's how I landed being there, and my career went on and on. So when I say I landed there by default, is because I went to the university not going to study librarianship. And most of the students with time were sharing the same sentiments. They said, I went there, I didn't know what to study, and I went into librarianship. Others said, I didn't even know there was a course called librarianship, a profession called librarianship. But we are continuing in our profession, and currently we are being asked, is this profession still relevant? With the technology that we are having, internet, people think with internet, they have everything. They don't need librarians anymore. So we are the people to answer such questions. Where do we see ourselves? Where do we position ourselves? Are we not left behind? So that's where we are. Then the career path. I finished studying for my bachelor's at the University of the North. It is now called the University of Limpopo. And I went to the then Tlhabane College of Education. We used to be lecturers and the college librarian. So that was my position. And carrying the same, I didn't stay long. Tlhabane, it's my home place in Rustenburg. I came to Pretoria and I went to, Hebron College of Education. But then other professions are guarding their profession. You don't just jump in there and practice without studying to do their job. At Tlhabane College, I was getting a salary of a matriculant with my 4-year degree of library science, because they said you are not a teacher and you are in our environment. So you can think more what is happening in our profession even today. What are we doing? Are we guarding our profession like that? Then I had to study postgraduate diploma in education with UNISA. Then at least after that year, they had to pay me retrospectively. I was the happiest person that time. So after completing, I did my honors with the University of Pretoria. And as I was there, I learned to know the culture in the library. Time and again, I was there anyway, but still working at Hebron. Then as I continued, immediately when I finished, there was a position I applied. But it was a struggle. I was asking myself, am I going to cope here? Because those were the times when I was not seeing Black professionals in the library of UP. But I applied anyway. And fortunate enough, I got the position. And this was when the turn of things was happening in 1994. So I got the position. I was a subject librarian. I started as a reference librarian, and part-time lecturing. Some of my students are in this group, Ingrid is one of them. So as we continue there from UP, doing that particular job of being a librarian, lecturing. I loved my lecturing, but I'm a librarian at heart. I still wanted to practice. So I continued like that. And then one other interesting part, I could not get into the University of Pretoria, practice as a librarian, and I don't belong to any professional association. And by that time, can you imagine if you are a professional, you never heard somebody saying we have a professional association. So this is one downside of our profession, that we don't sensitize our young professionals when they are still students. I saw my daughter who was studying business management. The year 3, they are so actively involved in the profession. They are invited to, they are so active. But we used to in our profession, but now it has gone so low to non-existent. because when our professionals complete, they should already be in the association. They should be associating with other professionals where they aspire to be. As I'm telling you about this daughter of mine, she would be dressing formally, you know, like when she would be pitching up at work. So do we do that for our young librarians who are coming up? Do we generate that excitement as they are coming up? So I had to join SAILIS. The other challenge was, at the time, there was SAILIS, there was LIASA, and these were racially motivated. SAILIS was for our white counterparts, LIASA was for the black professionals. So, you know, our country comes a long way. But as we continued, I had to join SAILIS. Because I'm coming in here in the University of Pretoria. And when you were joining SAILIS as a black professional that time, other black professionals were saying, oh, you are so brave. You are going to the other one. Others would say, you sell out. You go into the white professional association. But this was coming to an end. I was so happy that 1994, the debates were already on, so that we should have our first democratic association, and that's when LIASA, we call it LIASA. You see that light on top of the eye, you know, LIASA, the rising sun. You know? So that time, as LIASA was coming up, can you imagine? We are already on the 25th year. LIASA will be having a silver jubilee in July this year, celebrating our 25 years. We come a long way. Then my participation started. Then I started participating. I volunteered, but because you were scared, I don't know, I don't have skills. I was going there hesitantly, but I ended up being elected there. And I was saying, what am I going to do? But with time, I learned to take up responsibility. And even if I was scared of some of this, I was saying, and why was I scared? I didn't want to fail. But because I continued to meet people who were ready to assist, then I kept volunteering again and again. And I counted on the support group. And as the career path continued, when I left the University of Pretoria, I went into my first managerial position. And that's when I was going to the government, GCIS, Government Communications and Information Systems. I so much enjoyed my job there. You know, being a librarian in that space, in that government institution, you have to understand very well that they are depending so much upon you for information and critical information. I remember President Mbeki used to keep us running. When there's a conference internationally and somebody in that conference quote that South Africa is #1 with crime, President Mbeki would say, I want that presentation now. We would run, check that conference, get that presentation, and he would, because he was forever there on the, we would run for information. On a day like this, when it is SONA, the president is going to do the State of the Nation address. The librarian and her team there are running, because here and there, when there are gaps, information gaps, you have to provide and be accurate, because now the president will say things that you didn't provide correct information. So dynamics and skills in that space is, you have to be visible. They have to rely on you. You have to work hard, turn around, excellent. And you have to serve your clients the same way, very, very well, take them very serious, and to grab an opportunity to advocate for the library. So at that time, even the CEO knew the librarians because we were guarding our space. Everybody wanted to buy books in their small sections. And we refused. When I arrived there, I said, no, I want all this budget. What are they buying? They're going to duplicate. We work. The library doesn't work like that. So if you don't guard your space, everybody would take a share of your space as a librarian. And continuing at GCIS, I remember there was a gentleman there who was a security. You know, the library is always a place where when they do restructuring, they will bring people. They will even, when you say, I have a vacancy in the library, they give you anybody. Guess what? They gave me a security person for an information officer. Then I said, you know what? There's nothing I can do. But I encouraged the young colleague to study. When I left there, he was completing his library science. He is a librarian of note now. So I'm happy at least that I didn't say, what do I do with a security guy and all that? I just grabbed that opportunity and I ran with it. And the support I received from the colleagues, you know, every time we knew that towards the end of the financial year, now February, everybody wants to use their budget. They didn't do things on time. So everybody's releasing the money. I would wait for that time. And I would have my project ready and I would say, this is what we want to do. And that's how we got our information service center started. So we had, and it has to be in line with the mandate of the institution. So we started that because we needed to impact on the community. People were coming there, they need to be helped with CVs, they need to apply for jobs. So we said, much as we have a library, for our community and people who are passing there at GCIS, we need this information center. And we had it. And, you know, quick turnaround. So that time I realized you cannot do some of these things when you don't have a mentor. You need to be running at another level and surrounding yourself with supportive people and read, because you have to understand other areas that are not in librarianship. So that will keep us up on our toes. And I learned that you don't stop learning. So we understood, and personally I understood what the journalists are doing, and because I have to serve them at our institute. So you continue to collaborate and consult all other experts. Then from GCIS there, I'm going to LIASA. I liked it so much because at GCIS, I was the deputy director. Then when I went to LIASA, I was the director. So the colleague of mine from GCIS, Salamina Molawa, started at LIASA before I came. Then I went there. She has been a colleague of mine in 3 organizations. We work together at GCIS, LIASA, and even my next organization I worked at. So at LIASA it's Africa Institute of South Africa. So when we serve researchers, we know we are not just serving clients sitting there. We have to be partners with research or with researchers doing their work. The CEO at LIASA used to say, when the researchers go out to present and do a huge research workshop or conference, he was encouraging librarians. So myself as director, Salamina deputy, we were forever encouraged to do our presentation, and we present at the conference. It's just that we were not publishing. And this is another area that is struggling in our profession, that we don't publish. We present a lot at conferences, but we don't finalize it for publication. But I'm happy for our colleagues who do that and publish their work. Then for a short while, I was at the ARC. I wouldn't say much about because I didn't stay long. HSRC gave me an offer that I couldn't resist, and I make a move to the Human Science Research Council. So this is where my profession got an acid test, because when I arrived there 6 months into my position as the Director of Library and Information Services, our Deputy CEO, who was, it's like at UNISA, which is very huge, we would call the person the Executive Director, Corporate Services. But at HSRC, because it's a smaller institute, is the Deputy CEO, Support Services. Then our Deputy CEO leaves and I'm approached to act. I was saying, why me? I can't. Because the same thing I was saying at LIASA, when I was time and again requested to act when the CEO was not in research institute, because they are smaller, you are there in the executive team of the institution. And I never refused. But you know, from LIASA, I would get comments like, she's a mere librarian. And I mean, what will she tell us? You know, so you have to stand your ground, understand your environment. And as I was saying, you have to learn a lot, because when you are there in the executive team, when there's a disciplinary hearing, you are also involved. So do you know the procedures? Then you need to advices from your legal friends or legal people, so that you don't make or take wrong decisions. So HSRC, I went into the same position of acting deputy CEO, but then this is when I was already running for LIASA presidency. Then the CEO was so excited. She was saying, you are going to be the president? I said, yes. Excuse me. And we continued, and she was giving so much support. And in LIASA, colleagues, I don't want to tell you lies, we work hard. It's a sacrifice, because you have your full-time job and you have the expectations. So as a leader in LIASA, you know you have to deliver, and also you have to deliver for your job. But the CEO, the support she gave, even when I was traveling overseas, either Aflia, she would give me that support. You know, I was saying when we were hosting, because it was during my time when we hosted IFLA, that was 2015. She was so excited. She was owning our event. When she was with her counterparts in big meetings, she would say, we are hosting the IFLA conference here. And they were asking, what is IFLA? And she was saying, you remember 2010, the World Cup in South Africa? They said, yes, yes, that is the Library World Cup. So that's how she used to be excited. Why? Because I was pulling my load. I was doing my work, and she could give me. I know the maximum I got out of office to do LIASA work, 2 weeks. And we were doing our roadshow, because how would you go for a roadshow when your supervisor is not allowing you? And she was the person giving me that. So the LIASA contribution, you know, the network that I found myself having because of this, especially that I came in when we were already going for IFLA. But even before that, just being the LIASA president, you were supposed to be in committees. I was serving in our National Council, the Endless, but it is an advisory body, you know. You had to advise the Minister of Education, Minister for Arts and Culture. We were there, and I was having that opportunity. And serving in the advisory boards of the University of Pretoria, UNISA, UCT, and you know, many other platforms where I was supposed to be as the LIASA president, representing the library and information services sector. And, you know, you develop skills around the time. So running to IFLA, there were so many interviews. I enjoyed it because our, he was my successor, Mandla Ntombela. He became my successor, but in our executive committee, he was arranging radio interviews, television interviews, all those. So the excitement about libraries in our country went so high. The secretary, Betsy, Betsy Esther, I will not succeed to mention everybody by name, and Anna Marie, the office manager, these people were running to make IFLA a success, and that gave me exposure. So all those relevant stakeholders that we engage with assisted me to grow, even as a person. So my leadership skills grew, and as and when I get an opportunity to use that, I do so. So those are the issues. And another contribution of LIASA is that when you travel, going around everywhere, and even for all of us colleagues as professionals, when we travel going to conference, is for us to ensure that we engage on trends in our sector so that we implement relevantly when we come to our institutions. Because going there, coming back, not making a difference, maybe that is why some of the management people are not supporting us as we ask to go, because we come back, there's no difference. Others don't even submit report from a conference. So if you are on your toes, showing that it adds value, they will understand. Institutions and like our academic institutions, you go there for international conference when you are going to present a paper. But if you're not presenting a paper, you must have a good motivation to say, this is what I'm going to do. You come back, you have to do it. Implement and put your institution on the map. So benchmarking with the best practice. When I talk transformation and embracing transformation, change is painful. So when we learn what others are doing, it's easier to see when we come back that it's doable and we are able to do that. And being in your professional association, I traveled extensively. And I just said, if I was not in LIASA, I wouldn't have managed to travel the world like that. And that opportunity I got because when we attend the conference nationally, for us to attend AFLIA in the region, our continental one, is because we are members of LIASA to go there. And we go to IFLA because we are members of LIASA. So some of the people want to run, go to AFLIA, go to IFLA, but nationally here at LIASA, they are not active, they are not doing their bit. So that's very challenging. Then the lesson learned, just a few, there are many, but these I felt are very important, sharing with your interest group to say, if there are some of you who still aspire to do their PhD, I would advise you to do it before you get into senior management. Senior management is a very demanding position. The emergencies, you run, you work around the clock. So for you to come out of the laptop and go to your personal laptop for your studies, you are so exhausted, you can't. This is the position I find myself in, but I still hope I will arrive there. And you have to be intentional about taking care of yourself. I know there was a day at IFLA when I saw the sun set and I saw the sunrise. I didn't go to that bed because there was so much to be done. You are having all these people around you, but it is just too much. So you have so many presentations to do. I never stopped to thank my predecessor, Ujala, because she was not getting tired of it. We learn from other countries that the predecessor and the current president run it together because we want a seamless flow of leadership. That is why Naomi Haas Group initiated in her term that South Africa gets IFLA. Ujala ensured that all those networks are up with the countries that host that, and we are raising funds, we are doing all that, and I was the queen. I had to celebrate and launch. So I wouldn't just say that take the glory alone when so other people have worked so much, all the teams, all the interest groups working so hard that South Africa must be on the map. So if you don't take care of yourself, you will break. It's your family, it's your professional association, it's, everything take a piece of you. So physically, emotionally, don't allow people to push you. Spiritually, have a connection. Mentally, read. Remember that. Then you will be a whole you. And let's strive to leave a legacy in the LIS sector. We don't want to lose our sector because we are the generation that left it to go or to fall apart. There is so much to do, and our young professionals to be up there. Let's remain passionate, actively involved. When you are out of the interest group committee, or I'm out now, I'm no longer the president, but I'm still in there because I'm currently serving in the boards. So this is what we continue doing, to say you cannot just sit and do nothing. And availing myself, like I'm talking to you, when the other one comes, it's payback time. We know that these are the people who supported us when we were in the national leadership, and make an impact in people's lives. We are not librarians just for the sake of it. I think each and everyone who chose librarianship as a profession is passionate about serving. But you don't just serve, make a difference. See people improving. When we were running on a roadshow as LIASA committee, we saw libraries struggling, so whatever province you find yourself, just take a turn, give them a visit, volunteer there, and assist them. They have others were fortunate to benefit from a grant. They have gadgets, technical gadget, advanced. They cannot use them. You can help. And be proud to be a librarian. We once engaged in a debate. No, we are no longer librarians. We are information specialists. We are knowledge specialists. Whatever we call ourselves, but let us be proud that we are dealing with knowledge and information, and we want to render the service as relevant as the times where we find ourselves. We cannot be talking traditional books only. We know where we are with technology currently. And commit to mentor a young professional. And if you do that, skills transfer continue, we will never have a gap. And with this, thank you so much, colleagues, for having me.
Thank you, Segametsi. What an inspiring story. We're going to, let me just mute that. I'm having feedback. We're going to have Ingrid take the questions and comments. Ingrid?
Hi, good morning. Yes. Are there any questions from the floor?
Ingrid, perhaps you want to put your
camera on.
Camera on. There we are.
Good morning, everyone. So,
good morning, Ingrid.
Morning, Sega. So
I'm just going to see if I can help you unmute yourself, or you rather.
Sorry?
There you are. You are unmuted, Ingrid.
Yes, I am unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay, so what I can see is that there's inspiring, people are saying thank you for the inspiring talk. Are there any specific more questions? You can put them in the chat or raise a hand. Oh, there's Berenice Pfeffer. If you can unmute your button. Okay, so let's try Yukdal.
Hello.
Berenice, yes, the floor is yours. What's your question?
First of all, I would like to thank our presenter. I've always admired her, and I'm so glad that the story is even more inspiring. But I would like to know, I've been part of LIASA since 2002, and I have this nervousness, or I'm a bit scared of allowing myself to be used, even though I want to be used. And I always come from a disability perspective. And maybe a lot of you might be, but as a librarian with a disability, I've come across a lot of discrimination and just getting a job. And and this year I've actually decided I want to be more active in LIASA. That's why I made sure that I paid my dues and joined the all the like this conversation. What can I do? I mean, and I would like to know by you. Is there really a need for? Can I still give of myself and my, being a librarian at the age of 58, so being in the same company for 21 years. The thing is, what I have is that I don't see any movement for me in my job, but I feel that I can be more of use for the others.
Ingrid, would you love me to take 3 and continue, or you want me to take them one by one?
That's up to you.
Okay, maybe then let me take them 2 by 2. Let's
Okay.
get another one, 2
Yes.
by 2, then I respond, yes.
Okay, so there's also Surendra.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good day, colleagues. My name is Surendra Jagdev. And for those that don't know, I am Mrs. Molawa's second in command. I am a deputy director. Sekha, it's always nice to hear your voice. We've been working along for many years now. And colleagues, what my boss has just mentioned, she's given her life story. It's actually an echo of mine as well. If you look back in the last 34 years, what Mrs. Molawa has enlightened here, we transitioned from the SAILIS to LIASA. It was a very painful and difficult period, which we now, in hindsight, we've accumulated a lot of skills and knowledge. And I just want to say that the presentation that she gave about her biography, in many respects, touches on the difficulties, the trials and tribulations that we went through in the last few decades. We have those skills and knowledge that we've picked up along the years to teach our new young professionals and to inspire them not to hold any grudges, not to take things to heart, and to keep reflecting on those times that we went through, but to move forward with dignity, passion, and hope. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Suren. That was more of a comment, and I would also like to say that's very inspiring. And as I alluded to earlier, to say all the time when I was in an organization, my second in command was the person who was giving the support. Because imagine when I have to be away for 2 weeks doing LIASA, if my immediate deputy director would say, it's not my job, we would be falling apart. But then when people take ownership of this and they're together in it, we all succeed. So what was our first question? Who was asking the first question? I have the answers here.
It was Bernice.
Bernice. Yeah. Bernice, you are talking about your age. Your age is just a number. LIASA is welcoming to work with every professional every person in the sector, in the LIS sector. So as you are saying, you are a very critical person, because as information specialists and in whatever specializing area we work with, we have to render service to people who are differently abled. You would say disabled, I would say differently abled. So you are the person who will assist, and you will also advise how to handle it. We were talking to the Association of the Blind and Visually Impaired, and the people who were talking to us brought us to shame a little bit. We were embarrassed to say what we thought was an excellent service to them was really not helping them at all. We were making them miserable, holding their hands, writing big posters to say blind, you know, things like those, disabled or whatever, take them there. So people like you, we need, because you are the person who knows what you are going through. So the other person who is also differently abled will relate more comfortable with you than the person who is differently abled and thinking that I know what this person needs. So please volunteer as in yesterday and enjoy. Yeah, we can continue. I hope it helps.
It does.
You just have to be bold and say, I'm going to do it. People can say whatever. I went in there when other people were saying, she won't do anything. What does she know? But you have to be convinced that I can make a difference.
I see there is a question from Joyce Munyai, and she says, was there at any time where you felt that you wanted to quit your leadership position? You wanted to quit? To give up
Why
your
did I
leadership
want to
position?
give up?
If ever that you did want to give up.
Or if ever I wanted to give up at a certain stage?
Yes.
It has been so exciting. As I say, I always ask myself, what would my career be without LIASA? It inspired me, and it brought I lack words to tell you what it brings. When we were talking to the CHE, when we were having talks around LIASA being a professional body, now you are engaging with different people. Then, there was no dull moment, and that is brought by yourself. So you must all the time be ready to open doors. Other doors won't open for you. There will be resistance. People will not support you, but you must be the willing part. So if you are willing, you are going to volunteer. It will not be a bed of roses, but when you want to be there, you are going to bring some sacrifice. I remember when LIASA was starting, we used to go to meetings. We are not given enough money. At times they will give you money for a bus going to Eastern Cape. And then you have to put in more and just fly, because you are going to be in the bus for how many hours? And they would book you in this, I've forgotten, this hotels, not that I want all the glamour, but you had to sacrifice. But if you come and you say, what, they're booking me in a 2-star, I'm not going there. So other things you have to make happen, and you have to sacrifice. But I don't have a moment where I felt I wanted to quit. I was forever wanting more and more challenge.
Okay, we have a question from Yolanda. Yolanda? Yolanda Yake, do you have a question?
Hi, can you hear me? I'm just having technical issues.
We can hear you now, yes?
Yes, can you hear me? Yes,
Yes.
I do. Okay, my question. Okay. My question to Segametsi is, as a young profession who's still passionate about the profession itself and tries her best ability to be active in LIASA and even in the provincial branch, isn't it?
Yolanda, you have a network challenge. I pick up here and there. It's not clear. I wonder if you will be able to write on the chart.
The chat.
Because I get one sentence and you disappear.
Yeah. Okay, are there any other questions? I don't see any other hands.
In the charts, I'm seeing Makoshi saying this lady, it's such a challenge when it comes to volunteering. When I was the chair of Gauteng North, she used to be a soldier running to, to encourage, to do things. She was not hesitant to make her hands dirty. So I'm so happy to see her here because the last time we spoke, she was in a very serious accident. So, but her passion, it's Makhoshi, we are proud of you as professionals. We know where you've been. We know your contribution in LIASA, and we love you more.
I see there's a question from Lepampo asking how would you describe your leadership style?
It differs. Sometimes it's charismatic when I want to win, but I'm all the time wanting to have everybody participating. I don't want to exclude people. And you know, our profession is in such a way that you should understand the people. If you say, I want to deal with these ones, and at times you have to assist people to come in there. So that's me, but the bigger part of me, it's charismatic, and it worked for our profession because I'm able to negotiate and get what I need to get, because I know when it sways, and I surround myself with all the people that I know for this particular issue. I want to send so and so. So I always believe I cannot win alone. I participate with people. I'm not a person who wants to work alone.
Thank you. I don't see any other hands up. We are drawing close to our time that is up now. There's a lot to saying how inspiring your discussion was, Sega, and I agree with that. It was very inspiring. And thank you very much for your time. Fatima, can I hand over back to you?
Thank you for all the colleagues. I'm busy reading your charts here, and I'm also inspired by you because I'm seeing, now that I know all the various sectors and people who were assisting us, especially when I was there as the president, when I would ask somebody to come and do a presentation, when, these are the people who are there, and our colleagues, the publishers, I'm seeing people here. So thank you so much from all your corners. I know you've been there for us, and we still need each other. Even when our profession in this fourth industrial revolution is taking a turn. Technology, for us to embrace things at the relevant pace, we need each other. And the financial assistance you used to put in there for us as librarians, we appreciate all this. Thank you so much, colleagues.
Thank you so much. We will have the thank yous and the closures done by our chair-elect and treasurer, Ms. Mersha Morialia. Are you ready, Mersha?
Yes, I am.
There we go. Looking
Can you
lovely.
hear me? Fatima, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. Good morning, colleagues. Our honorable guest speaker, Segametsi Molawa, IGBIS committee, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, good morning. My name is Meshia Mariana, the chair-elect for this term, and then I'm here to present vote of thanks. And then it is my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks this morning. I would like to extend my gratitude to our guest speaker, Segametsi Molawa, to have taken out from her busy schedule to grace the event with her presence. Thank you very much for your inspiring, encouraging, and motivating words this morning. Indeed, we are really encouraged by your words, especially us as young professionals, to pursue leadership roles, to have mentors and collaborate, and as well as to never ever stop learning. I would also like to thank the organizing team, the IGBIS committee under the leadership of Fatima Deris, for working hard to make this event successful. And then to all the participants, thank you very much for coming and honoring us with your presence. Colleagues, I would like to ask all of you to switch on your video so that we can take a photo. Please, colleagues, just switch on for 1 minute and then you'll switch it off after.
Hi,
We are
everyone.
waiting, colleagues.
You are all looking good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just need some of you to adjust your laptops or your camera slightly so that you are in screen. I can share my screen with you, so if you want to see yourself, but I think it's probably better if you just look at your camera.
Yeah.
Okay, all looking beautiful, wonderful. Ms. Kleinfeld, Dr. Kleinfeld, could you sit a little bit higher?
Good morning.
A little bit higher.
It's good to see all of you.
Thank you.
Good to see all of you too, Frida, and all of you. I'm seeing you.
Is it better?
It's better, yes, thank you. Okay, here we go. What shall we say to make you smile?
Cheese.
Okay. Okay, here we go again. What shall we say to make you smile?
Cheese. LIASA.
Thank you. Okay, I think we've got some good pictures, colleagues. If there's anybody else who would like to take pictures, what you'll need to do is to put, if you're in Teams, to put your gallery mode on, or whatever mode it is that you are in, and you want to press the window key on your keyboard and the print screen button. That will give you a picture. Okay, good. Everybody, thanks for coming.
Thank you. Have a
wonderful
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
See you in our next
Bye-bye.
event.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Good work, people. Thank you. Thank you, Segametsi. And thanks, Tracy and Olona, if you're still with us. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sarah, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, we enjoyed. Bye.
When we go out.